Hello and welcome to Down the Vent. My name is Joe.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Steve.
And today, it's almost Gen Con.
Today's almost Gen Con.
So yeah, it is almost Gen Con. So we are talking Gen Con.
We're less than 3 weeks at this point, yeah?
Yeah, we are.
It's less than 20.
Today is the 13th of July. So just that will be that'll come into the note later, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
We're gonna go over our top 10 games of Gen Con 2019 today.
Yes.
Anticipated,
Right,
yes.
right.
Top 10 anticipated games of Gen Con 2019. God, that's a long title. Anyways, I made my list today, this morning. I even went back and double checked, see if there's anything new added to the list. So as of July 13th, this is my list. They could add something, like Fantasy Flight will add something literally the day before Gen Con.
Yeah, there's going to be other people that do it, and absolutely there was no way, unless we were putting it out like seconds before the convention,
right, that
we would know what Fantasy Flight is doing. And maybe you guys, if you're of the mind, like I actually signed up for the Fantasy Flight in-flight report.
We did as well.
So maybe do some kind of something afterwards and just do a quick, a small video. You guys could push that right up.
Yeah,
we
could even just live stream our
do a
whatever.
little live stream of it. You know what I mean? Afterwards, thoughts and what you think. Just a quick overview.
I like that idea.
Yeah. But again, so it's not going to be Fantasy Flight. It's not going to be anything that's posted after this point. There's going to be at least one or two other things. But there was 500 okay, so I did it about 3 o'clock this afternoon, 4 o'clock. I worked for a little bit today. And as of that point, there was 577, if I'm not mistaken, things on the list at that point.
I did it this morning. I think there's only like 540, so it sounds like even more got added in between the time you did yours and I did mine.
A bunch of them were ships for Battlestar Galactica. Which is not.
I saw those ones,
Which again, if I was into,
but
I did mine 2 or 3 days ago.
Oh dang, Josh missing he only had like 250.
I only had like 450.
I checked it almost daily just so I could keep up with it.
And per discussion beforehand, Joe had the hardest time actually coming up with a list.
I had trouble. I had about 13 games total written down.
But he has a caveat which makes a big difference, and that is
I only did games that were for sale. So these are only ones that I can actually pick up at the convention.
And Josh and I both have at least some demos.
I have some demos. Yeah. I have some buys. I had like 22 on my list. I removed all expansions.
Okay, see, and I have expansions.
Yep.
So all of our lists are going to be completely different rules, but that's
works,
fine.
Which actually works. It gives a nice broad spectrum.
Yep.
And okay, so quick game that they like to play. Crossover. How many? Any?
Yes.
3.
3 each? Or just 3 total crossovers?
3 total?
Like 3 games. 3 different games will have
3 different game crossovers.
3 different game crossovers, and will any game be on all 3 of our lists? Ooh. Remembering what I told you before we started.
The same game on everybody's list?
On all 3. Will any of us have all 3?
No. I don't think you'll have anything I have.
Like at all? You don't think we'll crossover
I don't think
we'll have one crossover.
Okay. That's interesting.
That's it, you think?
No, because you said all buys. Oh. Yeah.
How many of you got some crossover, Steve?
I think that I will have at least
me and him are gonna have one.
I will I think that Josh and I will have 1 for sure, and you and I will have 1. I'm guessing that you and I will.
So you're saying 2 total.
So 2 total, 1 each.
I'm gonna say I think we'll only have 1 crossover. It's going to be me and Josh.
Really?
And that's it. He doesn't think anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
so shall we get to it then?
Yeah.
To our number 10!
10.
My number 10, and we already talked about it, my most anticipated thing is whatever Fantasy Flight brings!
Hey! Oh, man!
Because anything they do the night before is going to be amazing.
You know what? We were wrong. You're Sam Healy. You're breaking the rules of the list right from the second it's open.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. Whatever is announced Wednesday night Fantasy Flight games, because they do their big reveal Wednesday night.
Yep.
And it's usually huge, and everybody runs to go get whatever they get. I heard possibly Legion expansions this year, or things of that nature.
I'm sure they'll have some. That probably won't be their major announcement, I wouldn't think.
And the thing about it is
like
that exciting to us?
A bigger expansion.
Sure, but is that exciting to us? Here's the thing, because we're not in Legion currently, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not that we wouldn't like to play it, but that is a lifestyle game that
Yep.
we may as well get into Magic the Gathering or pick something like
it
that.
excites me every time I see it.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't afford that kind of lifestyle.
That's the point. I mean,
Yeah.
it's either that or you pick a legion, like a single legion group, and that's yours. I get one, and maybe somebody else does, and we play one-on-one every so often, right? But how often are we getting together to play two-player games?
Exactly.
But hey, you just said most anticipated. I'm
Oh,
anticipated for it.
No. I just was
fine.
curious. I wondered. Yeah.
You go ahead,
What's
Steve.
your number 10?
Okay, so my number 10 is actually. So I do want to mention this really quickly. Several things that I'm going to mention here would have also fallen under my origin stuff, but that I never got to either see or whatever else. Okay, and a couple of things will allow me to explain why I was interested in them to remind you guys, because I did see the video, and while it was really good and it was super funny, there were just some times where like, okay, I wish I was there to at least mention this thing, and you guys could have at least taken more pleasure in what it was.
And that's why he's here this time.
Yeah, well, that the fact that I'm not dying.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
literally, if I
he's
felt
not
as bad as I
dying,
was
too.
before, I'd still be at home. So this is Genotype, a Mendelian genetics game. So this is by the same people who do Subatomic, the card game,
Yep.
right?
Science.
And they do the periodic table game that you guys
Yep.
made fun of that I was saying.
Yep.
And that will also be there. But I chose this because this is the one that's not even on Kickstarter yet, and it's coming further. And essentially, it's literally, it's 2 to 5 players, 20 to 40 minutes, and it's going to be relatively lightweight because their games tend to be, right? They're made to kind of be like a middle school or whatever. Deduction, dice rolling, okay? And essentially, you're trying to manipulate genetic codes through for sweet peas, so you're actually trying to genetically manipulate them to get certain traits out at the end and make sense
So you're
and stuff
becoming
like
like
that.
a GMO farmer.
Yeah. Kind of. Well, actually, what in this case, what actually happened with monks in the 16th century, learning what genetics were, like discovering what genetics were, and the point of it. But the idea is it literally follows those real things, but essentially you're making pairs by like pairing up. It's things that you've done in tons of other games, but this follows the specifics of the science.
That's cool.
Super into the idea of it. My kids are not so young anymore that like they would be in that thing, but I just love the idea of being able to like to have that kind of stuff, and I support like those guys and Academy games. Really kill when it comes to educational stuff. So I'm sorry. Genotype, a Mendelian genetics game, and that's Genius Games.
Genius Games.
Yep.
My number 10 is from Peterson Games.
Ooh!
Oh.
So we might actually have that
Really?
crossover, possibly.
It is Planet Apokolips.
Oh no, that's the other one. That was almost my list.
It is a 1 to 5 player co-op dice rolling game with minis. Lots of minis because it's Peterson, right? Essentially, it's the end of the world, and you're trying to stop it, type of thing. Yeah, that's pretty much all I know about it.
Okay, so this
it's
one
expensive though, so that's why it's so low on my list. It's like $100, and like we also have lots of expansions, and I'm thinking Cthulhu War expansions.
It is
$200. Yeah, exactly.
It is actually one of the. Now that I think about it, I realize that the game that would have I thought was possibly going to cross over because it is a Peterson's game. I took it off. You don't have any Peterson's games on yours, do you? I doubt it.
He doesn't.
No. Okay. They do. They've got another one called Glorantha Wars.
Yep.
And essentially, it. From everything I've seen about it, it's almost the same kind of a thing as Cthulhu Wars, like very similar. And I own a lot of that. For those that don't know, except it's all like gods from various parts of the real world. So it's like Mayan gods and whatever else and all this kind of
Norse gods.
and all kinds of stuff, and you get to control like groups of them or one god from those type of things. And and I took it off the list because after I reread it again, it was like, you know what? I love Cthulhu Wars, and I don't get it to the table enough, and it's very difficult for me to take on another $150 base game plus $40 in expansion.
Take out a small loan to afford the game.
I've done it so many times. So many times.
All right. Well, that was from Peterson Games, Planet Apokolips.
Oh, that sounds
on to our number 9s.
9.
My number 9 comes from Gale Force Games.
Gale Force 9?
Yeah, Gale Force 9.
Oh, I see what you did there. You put it at number 9.
Yes.
Because they're Gale Force 9.
Gale Force 9 because,
clever.
number 9. Yes. Did it on purpose. It is, yes.
Dune.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
What one?
Dune.
Oh, Dune, yeah.
I didn't see that on the list.
Yeah.
it isn't on the BGG list, but I heard about it somewhere else,
Yep.
so I quickly went in.
Well, it was at Origins. Did you guys see it at Origins?
No.
It was set up, and you could do like partial demos at Origins.
Yeah, I
didn't
and
have
it
it
looked
yet.
really good.
for sale because I
That's
was
what-
just checking cool stuff for it today, and it comes out like end of
Yes,
mid-August or
that's
something
what
like
I-
that.
Yeah,
Here-
they didn't have it for sale at Origins.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. Is it's probably going to be for sale at Gen Con, but it's Dune. It's a remake of the 40-year-old Dune board game, pretty much, which is based off the movie.
Right, and it was the currentest version would be Rex, which we've all played.
Yeah.
You guys have played a couple times,
Yep.
and
It
Rex
look-
is a good game.
It looks pretty different than Rex though, so I think they've kind of
They said
I
that
don't
they've
know.
streamlined it and modernized it somewhat, but it's still supposed to have a lot of
the same
much
things going
of
on.
the same basic
Yeah,
stuff.
because you're
you know,
taking
like
on
that.
races and
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm excited to just check it out because I never got to play the original Dune game.
No, no.
And
we haven't,
it's kind of one of those holy grail games, is my
Yeah.
understanding
Yeah.
of you play this, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my number 9, Dune from
Yeah, good
Gale
choice.
Force.
Real good
9.
choice. Yeah.
yeah, good choice.
Nice. Yeah, totally. So my number 9. My number 9. Several things dropped in and out of the list, and then this was what I came to because this game intrigues me, looks good. It is by Floodgate Games. It is called Bosque. And 2 to 4 players, and essentially it's abstract strategy. And if you think of what's the sun moves around the board with the trees game?
Photosynthesis.
Okay.
So this is an abstract game a little bit like that, except for that you are setting up a forest, and I don't think you grow the trees in quite the same way, but you set up a forest, and then you have hikers go through it, and over the course of the year, the better the landscape that the hikers are moving through it, the more points you score. But it's really pretty looking. Vassal already had a thing up and said it was a really good game. Like it was
like
a
a-
really solid game.
Sounds like a mixture of photosynthesis and
Yeah.
Takanoko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And-
Takedo.
Takedo, yeah.
Takedo, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about it is it's got really cool meeples, like little leaf meeples and squirrel meeples, and you
Okay,
know,
I
like
did
that.
see
You know,
that
like,
one,
yeah.
yeah. Yep.
So just and again, I've heard good things about it. The pre-rating is 7.5,
Nice.
which is pretty decent. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so I'm looking forward to giving it a shot. I know, again, this is one that I know was at Origins, just never got to
Yeah,
sit
yeah.
down and do anything with it.
All right, my number 9
Dun, dun, dun.
is from the OP,
Uh-oh.
which
Yep,
is
yep,
the
yep.
new USAopoly.
USAopoly,
That's like
yeah.
their new section of them or whatever. It is Die Hard, the
Yep.
board game.
Nice.
Yeah, they're
2
not
to 4
playing.
players. It says so. The BGG says it's a campaign battle card game.
Yeah.
I don't understand what that means. It's more like an action selection game, and you're trying to complete objectives.
Yeah.
And there's dice rolling.
I think
think-
they consider it a battle card game because you can use your cards in multiple ways. Like you'd use it to unlock, or I could think you can
That's
use
true,
them for,
okay.
like
And,
actions.
and I think they call it the other because you start off on one floor, and during the course of there's phases of the game where you move from floor to floor, and you will change your location, so it kind of like resets the battlefield. So it is like a campaign.
Okay,
in the
that
way it
makes sense, yeah.
I mean, because it's double-sided, and there's 2 phases on each side of the board.
Yep.
Yep.
So from
And
what
it is one versus all as well, where
Yep,
one
yep.
person is playing John McClane.
I'll be very interested to see if we can get it to the table.
It
Yeah.
looks good.
So my number 9 was Die Hard from the OP.
So that's one crossover.
Why?
Yeah.
There's no crossovers yet.
No, you'll
No.
I know. I just saw my next one too, and I know there's gonna be at least one more. I
Oh,
was like, dang it! I forgot to look at my. I should have looked at my games before. I said
see.
it.
Yep. Yep.
All right, on to our number 8. On to our number 8.
Number 8. My number 8 is from Restoration Games. Ooh, Joe, is this another crossover?
This would have been on my
Yes,
list.
it would have.
I already know what it is.
Yes.
If I put demos on my list, it
Yes.
probably would have been number top 3.
Oh, for sure. It is Return to
Dark Tower.
Dark Tower. It
I
is
am
a
very
sequel to
excited
the
for
1981
Yeah.
Grail game, Dark Tower.
Matt asked me if he can buy this game and not me,
No.
and I told him to get out of here.
Yeah.
This is the kind of game that you actually could have more than one of.
Yeah,
because it's a restoration, there's a good chance it's going to be simple enough to get to the table with other people outside of your
Yep.
play groups, and that's the big reason why.
Yep. So cooperative game, 1 to 4 players, collecting resources, building buildings, all to, defeat the end foe.
Dark
And you guys have never played the original? I mean,
We have.
Oh, you did play
Yes.
it.
It
Okay.
was really fun.
I
Where were we when we
Grand
got to
Con.
play? Yep, Grand Con.
I
had a
played
copy.
way back in the day, and I barely remember it.
But yeah, that is my number 8 is from Restoration Games Return to Dark Tower. Super excited they're going to have demos of it, so definitely going to check it out, take pictures, all that, maybe even do a video if I can get a gameplay in. I'm going to be probably busy. Gen Con's chaos, so.
Yep.
Nice. No, this is great.
Yeah,
I can't wait to try
excited.
it. Yeah. Can't wait to try it.
Steve?
So, my number 8, right? We're on 8s. Yep. My number 8 is the oldest game on the list.
The oldest game on the list.
Almost for sure, it's the oldest game on the list. Well,
Okay.
on my list, anyways.
Okay.
Because I didn't pick the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
And that is Starfarers of Catan.
Yeah.
I've heard, and here's the reason being, I've heard that it is nothing like Catan as far as the way you does anything.
Yeah.
And this is the first time it's back in print in 20 years,
Yeah.
or 15 years anyways.
Yep.
Supposed to be great, supposed to be really interesting. This is...
You're trying to build your ship to get off the planet, right? I think
Right,
is
something
what it is in
along that
one.
line.
We've seen
yeah,
it. We've
and
seen it.
exploration, negotiation, science fiction, space exploration. I mean, like I'm into a bunch of that stuff. And actually, it is 20 years. It's 1999 was when it was originally released.
So are they doing like a second edition?
Completely revised graphics and game
Nice.
materials, revised rules, and most importantly, a variable game board that brings even more variety to the exploration of the game.
That's cool.
Ooh,
So,
boy.
yeah, I'm interested in at least playing this and seeing what it's like. And,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping that it's exciting and interesting. You know?
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yep.
I missed that. So.
Yeah, Starfarers of Catan. Klaus Teuber and Catan Studios is the publisher. Cosmos.
Yep.
All right, my number 8 is from Hub Games. It is called Mega City Oceania.
Oh, I almost picked
Yep.
this one.
Yep.
I think that might have been on my Origins list, and you made fun of me for it, but that's
Maybe.
fine.
Yeah, it probably was.
Go ahead.
Anyways,
Cool.
2 to 4 players, area control,
Yep.
city building,
Yep.
and dexterity.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Sweet.
cities are like big, tall, like plastic pieces that you stack up, or the buildings are. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you guys did literally make fun of me, and I was like, you haven't even looked at this game
Yep.
because
No,
when
I hadn't.
as soon as you'd seen where you were shoving the pieces into the board, you'd been like, oh, we would need to do this.
Yeah,
You know?
so-
Yep.
I like dexterity. I also like area control and city building.
Yep.
So it sounds like a lot of fun. And that again was Mega City Oceania from Hub Games. On to number 7.
Number 7. So my number 7 is from Haba Games. Their family line, because they have a family line now. you
Right.
know,
Well, they have for a
Yeah.
little while, but yeah.
Yeah. It is Hunga.
Oh,
Yeah,
not
nice.
mountains?
No, not Mountains.
Whoa.
Hunga.
You
Yes.
could have got this at Origins,
Yeah.
and you didn't.
And I didn't.
Wow. Hunga.
And
That's why I was making the mountain symbol. I
No,
figured that's
no,
what it was
no,
going to
no.
be.
No, I was excited for Mountains, but they didn't have it there, and I haven't heard anything really about it, so it kind of has fallen off my anticipated. Whereas I've heard really good things about Hunga, so I want to check it out, maybe pick it up, because I have children and they'll grow into games, obviously. But set collection, action point, tile placement. It looks, my understanding, it's really neat gameplay. If you have Hunga in front of you, can't take as many actions, or I don't know how it plays exactly, but I'm excited. I know it has to do with Hunga, a cat, and feeding him resources or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I'm excited. I've heard good things about it, so I'm going to check it out, probably pick it up, because it shouldn't be that expensive. I want to say it's for sale.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
definitely for sale.
Yep, it says for sale, $50.
Yeah.
So that's my number 7, Hunga from Haba.
Hunga
Nice.
from Haba.
Yes.
Yeah. Say that 4 times fast.
Hunga from Haba, Hunga from Haba, Hunga from Haba, Hunga from Haba.
Yeah, I knew it was going to. Yeah, you were so close. So close.
All right, Steve.
All right, so my number 7 is a game that I actually got to play last year. Well, I didn't get to play, but I looked over a big thing about it at Grand Con, and it's called Dawnshade. And it's 1 to 5 players, and it's action adventure. There's dice, exploration, there's fighting, like all that stuff. But it also has poker chips as a big chunk of its thing too, right? So you got all that, and it's dexterity on top of all that.
Oh, wow.
So part of it is like you're flipping your chip, and then where it lands adds pieces to how you're doing fighting and movement and certain other things, and
It's kind of neat.
like a whole group of stuff. The components look great. You literally have imagine if Arcadia Quest, right? if there was a dexterity part to it and you flipped coins onto it, but it's similar kind of a deal.
Okay.
Like where you guys level up and do things
Yeah.
or whatever else, like that. It looked great. It seems like good. I don't remember. I know that they were supposed to be coming out with a. I know they're supposed to come out with a Kickstarter, and the problem is that Cloudspire game that came out. I thought that was the Kickstarter, and so I got confused, because they both had the chips and stuff,
Yep.
and so I didn't end up backing it at the time because I didn't have the money, and now I don't know if this has actually come out and I missed it, like the Kickstarter has or not.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm very interested in. I never got to try it at Grand Con, and I'd really like to try it now.
Cool.
Dawn Shade.
All right. My number 7 is a single-player game.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
When I looked at it, just the cover, I was like, nah. And then I had it on my list because then I opened it up and looked at it more. And then I was making my list again final today, and I looked at the cover and I was like, nah. And then I opened it up again just to double check, and I was like, oh right, yes. So it's been all over the place. It is called Arkham Noir, Case Number 1.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
By
Arkham
Luda
Noir, yeah.
Nova. It's a hand management set collection adventure game. It kind of looked like Solitaire, but like with like a mission. So like, there's different things you can do to solve the case essentially, and you're playing out the cards in like big rows and up and down and stuff like that. I don't know, just looked interesting.
Yeah.
So I want to check it out, find a little bit more information on it, and it was only like $20, so we'll see.
Yeah, that game looked really interesting, but because I didn't know enough, had not heard anything about it, I love Cthulhu. You know what I mean? I really love Cthulhu stuff, but there's so many options. You kind of gotta be willing to give them a chance to somebody tell you that it's great.
Yep.
Before I really seek it out. But yeah.
So that was Arkham Noir.
Noir. Yep.
Arkham Noir. Case number 1 from Luda Nova.
Say that 3 times fast.
No.
All right, that was our number 7. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Take me to number 6.
Number 6. So close, so fast.
Let's do it.
My number 6 is from Days of Wonder. It is a roll and write game. It is Corinth.
Corinth?
Corinth.
This is their one game of the year, huh?
Yes, it's a roll and write. Be the best trader, lay out all the 9 dice, and then you end up picking the lowest die and putting it on the board for action selection things. Looks really neat. Roll and writes are hot right now.
So hot.
So hot.
So hot right now.
Super hot.
Hot.
But it looks neat. Just the piece of paper that it came with looked interesting enough and different enough than the rest of the roll and writes I've played. That I'm like, ooh, that
Okay, I
intrigues
get
me.
what you mean now.
Yes.
I was like, what do you mean
The
by
little
the piece of
piece-
paper?
the little
the
paper
instruction manual?
No, the paper that you write everything down on or keep track of everything.
Yep.
Player board?
Yes, the player board. And Days of Wonder, they always have something really good that comes out each year. And like Joe said, that's their one game they do a year.
Usually,
And is usually,
Yeah,
hot
it's
hit.
largely good. There have been a couple marginal misses, but mostly good. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that.
I can't wait
it's
to
only
play it once.
It's only $20, so
Yeah, most roll and writes aren't too expensive.
why not?
Yeah, like I said, I can't wait to play it once.
Yes, it's booth $14.29. I'm going booths now.
You've been jealous of my last few things.
Yes.
He's going with the booth now.
Go with the booth.
Yeah.
So that is my number 6, Days of Wonder, Corinth.
Okay. Steve,
All right.
what do you got?
Dun, dun, dun.
So number 6. So this one actually probably is the most excited. The thing I'm most excited to do, or one of the top things I'm most excited to do about all of Gen Con. But
So it's your
because
number
there's
1.
some things that but because there's some other things, I'm not taking into account the demo experience that I'm going to have for it, you know. But mine is Through the Ages, New Leaders and Wonders.
Okay.
Okay, so I've had Through the Ages for several years, close to 2 years, anyways, 18 months certainly. And I wanted to get to the table. It's got super big reputation, number 2 for a long time. Flirted with 1. The original was 1, I think, at one point. If not, it was close. Super good game. Big though, a little bit abstract. I've almost gotten to the table once or twice with different groups.
Yep.
But it was just a little late enough, or just a little whatever else. Never quite gotten it there. Well, This is the first expansion for the game. It's the only expansion that's coming out.
Nice.
And I signed up for and got into getting taught by Paul Grogan. So this is one of the games that I'm going to get taught by Paul Grogan, who... Paul Grogan is essentially the way I was describing him.
My number 5? No, 6. 6? My number 6?
He should be his number 1, but instead it's his number 2.
Is the complete opposite of what Steve's game is. It is called Snowman Dice from Brain Games. So you have 5 dice, and you're rolling them, and you have to get the bottom of the snowman, middle, and the top.
Okay.
And then the North Pole's in the middle. And then once you get your snowman stacked up, you say, I'm heading to the North Pole, and you have to push him towards the middle. But everyone else that's rolling, if they roll a snowball, can flick that at you.
Yep.
And everyone's trying to build the snowman at the same time.
I think I've seen something about that. Somebody was talking about
Are they
like
bigger
it being
dice? Or
Nope.
No,
they're just normal-sized dice.
No, I think I remember Vassal saying that he wanted to try a snowball heavy strategy where he just snowballs as much as possible. It just didn't
until people just leave the game.
Until people are like,
I'm
done. It'd be perfect for Josh.
Yeah. So it's like a 15-minute game or so, they say. I've heard sometimes it takes longer than that, though, especially if someone's taking the snowball strategy.
2 people just snowballing one person.
If your fingers aren't strong, you might bow out quicker. You know what I mean? Like,
so just put it between your two and just hockey puck it up.
But that is Snowman Dice from Brain Games. I actually already pre-ordered it, so it's a guarantee buy.
Nice.
I've not pre-ordered anything.
Wow.
Number 5. So my number 5 was actually mentioned earlier. It's not not anybody's list, but it was just mentioned. It is from Chip Theory Games. You mentioned it.
Too many bones.
No, Cloudspire.
I know they made too many bones.
Cloudspire. It's for sale. They didn't have a price, but it's
$11,000.
Yeah, probably. But I heard the prototype was amazing. I checked it out on BGG's website. It looks really neat.
This doesn't have the same creepy creatures like.
No.
That turns me off.
My understanding is it's like heavily influenced by like tower defense and MOBAs.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Hold on a second. Let's not pass that statement by for just 1 second.
Yeah.
The creatures that are creepy from too many bones.
Yeah.
Joe has.
Hold on. As I look at your Kingdom Death stuff over there,
that's not creepy.
Or
fair
hate.
Enough. No, fair enough. Yeah, no, go ahead, Joe.
They're like
they're
like trolly.
Or please back to your list.
Or darkest over there.
No, those aren't creepy. That's normal horror. These things aren't supposed to be horror. It's like the main characters in it. They're like super weird looking goblin things.
They're like Avatar characters.
No, they're not. Not in Too Many Bones. They all look like. You've seen them before, and you think they're ugly too, and that's the main reason you didn't buy the game.
Well, because it was expensive also.
And because the creatures were ugly that you'd have to play as. Anyways, Cloudspire.
Yes, Cloudspire
has beautiful art.
Yes, it looks beautiful. I've heard really good things about it. I didn't know there was a Kickstarter, but I wasn't really...
Yeah. And I think you might be able to get Kickstarter editions of the game. Possibly.
You should buy it, and we should play it before we play Matt's copy of Too Many Bones.
Well, it sounds like it's not like a giant campaign game like Too Many Bones.
It's a different. I think there is some stuff that you can do, but I think one-offs are just as viable. I can't remember.
But tower defense, MOBA. I like MOBAs. I like tower defense games, and I feel like there hasn't really been a good one. So I'm hoping this is good. I'm going to check it out. I'm excited for it. So that is my number 5, Cloudspire by Chip Theory Games.
All right.
Roll those chips, eat that dip.
I like dip.
Nice. All right. So going from one of the heaviest games on BGG.
It's one of the lightest.
to literally one of the lightest. It's a new game. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've seen a little bit of like how to play because it's super simple to explain and whatever else. And it's by AEG, and they tend to have interesting, simpler games. And it is called Point Salad.
Yep.
Which the thing about it is 2 to 6 players. Essentially, like every card, you lay out like a stack of decks, a little bit like when we did Welcome To, and the one side of the card is a type of vegetable or something that would go into his salad, but the opposite side is a way of scoring. So when you either pick to have the ingredient or you pick to have the scoring way. And so you're literally, so everything could score because it's a point salad, but literally what you're picking chooses. So you can pick more and more things that give you points, and just have fewer like overall things that could score.
Ingredients,
But you're scoring like 7 different scoring cards, or could be less, or whatever else. It's very interesting. That's
nice.
And it's super straightforward, super simple game. I think it's like what is it, 15 to 30 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like super straight. Like just really great.
The name and the picture pushed me away. I was like, that looks too simple, so I didn't check it out.
My number 5 is from Ravensburger.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh. Ravensburger.
It is. What was that?
Jaws.
No.
What?
No. Jaws came out at Origins. Goodbye. That's the past. We're looking at the future.
Past, he says.
Horrified.
Okay.
The co-op Universal Monsters game.
Yes.
You are people going around the city trying to rescue the village from the monsters.
Okay.
Action selection, 1 to 5 players, horror co-op. I'm excited for it. So
Sweet.
it looks cool. There's minis. Minis don't look amazing, but there's minis.
You're not selling it, Joe.
But it looks like a fun co-op game. Probably level like pandemic-ish level.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
With a cooler theme, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Take that, Z-Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's for me.
Crap all over there. Super replayable, unending game of pandemic that sold like far more copies than the Horrified will ever even consider selling. Unfortunately.
That's as far as you know. Probably the horror theme's not as big as
yeah.
whatever.
And the Universal Monsters. I mean, and I like all that, but still.
Yeah.
But it's my number 5.
Yes.
It is Horrified from Ravensburger.
Number 5.
Not Jaws. Wow.
Not Jaws.
And you didn't even pick up Jaws. I'm disappointed.
It's
in you.
out. It's too late.
My number 4 is from Colossal Games. It's a game I've talked about before, and Steven's talked about actually, but I have not got to check it
Today?
out. No.
Okay.
In the past,
Okay.
on
Like
anticipated games. Anticipated games for the year, I think, actually, for 2019's games for the year.
Could be. Once you say I'll know for sure.
Mezzo from Colossal Games. So area control, Mayan mythology with wooden miniatures.
Yeah.
They're actually going to have demos there, so I'm super excited to go
They
check
had
that
demos
out.
at Origins.
I worked Origins, so I didn't really have to get to go see everything I wanted to see.
I thought we stopped by to try and it was full or something. I don't remember.
maybe.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of tables.
Yeah. I think
maybe
I'm
it was
not
one or
saying
two
there was a
tables,
million
yeah.
tables. I'm just saying. And that could be the issue with this,
We
too.
stopped by
I mean,
every time we tried to stop by. It was
Yeah.
Well, welcome to 878 Vikings 2 years
Yeah,
before.
exactly,
That was exactly what happened to me.
But I plan on actually getting close and taking pictures of some of the minis and whatnot to actually, check it
As
out.
close as the judge will allow.
Yeah, as close as I-
After the restraining order.
As back as I can, as close as I can get. But it was one of the anticipated games for 2019 for me. I'm still excited for it. Hopefully it comes out this year. I don't know. I don't know when
idea.
it's supposed to be released, but
I think it is supposed to be this year, but I don't know I'm
Fourth
not
quarter.
1,000% on that. There is because that did Kickstarter. I'm almost sure, and I
think it did.
Yeah, and I don't know where that's at in that process because
Yeah.
I was going to and then I didn't.
So that is Mezzo from Colossal Games, Area Control. Think of like not Scythe, but Blood Rage, but in a Mayan and wooden.
Yeah,
That sounds cool.
yeah.
The map looks like a Rising Sun, almost like very colorful and
Ooh,
whatnot.
okay.
So
You're talking my language now.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's
I knew you'd
some
like
really
it.
cool stuff in there. It looked really good. All right, so
Steve.
my number
Steve.
4.
Steve.
My number 4.
Steve.
So one of my favorite games that I've gotten in the last couple of years, even though I haven't gotten to play with some of the new stuff I've gotten for it, has been the Networks. Really good game,
Yep.
a lot of fun.
Yep.
I backed and am waiting on his new game. I didn't get to play it. I saw it, but it was always busy every time I went by. But Gil Hova's coming out with Highrise. And Highrise, it looks really good. I do wish that things would have worked out better for it to come out in the more deluxe edition. But if the game does well enough, I'm sure they'll redo it in a more deluxe edition because it'll then be worth it. But it isn't supposed it is supposed to be. It's not super light, but not real heavy. Cool looking, kind of setup. 1 to 4 players, lots of good stuff there. I really like it's city building, which I like anyways, and strategy, which is where I'm at, and he tends to have I would say he's a step more involved than, say, like those Genius games, but kind of still gives you like kind of a really, really integrates theme with what you're doing really well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, the networks really feels like you're playing a goofy little like startup network and you're doing something
It does,
with it. You
yeah.
know,
They
and
do a
it's
good job with
just tongue in cheek enough to get it done. So I'm hoping that this is of equal value. Highrise, again, I'll get it later this year, one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I'd love to get it demoed and actually see, how it's going to go from that point. So.
All right. My number 4 is a 2-player game from a company called Uproarious Games.
Oh.
It is called Getaway Driver.
Okay.
It looked like a lot of fun. One person is playing a getaway driver, for like a bank robbery or something, and then the other person is playing cops. Cops, right?
Yep.
So you're like building the city as you go, and if you get the last city tile out, then the getaway driver escapes, and the player playing the police is trying to like trap the car and stop them from moving using their cars and stuff like that. Looks super interesting. It comes with a bunch of wooden like car meeple things that you're flying around the board, and I'm excited for it because I like interesting themes. And
again, I saw I think it was on BGG that I saw their Gamma stuff. I saw them like somebody talking through like part around it. It looked good. It looked real good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looked real fun.
That was my number 4, Getaway Driver from Uproarious Games.
And you play that simultaneously, don't you? Like as they're trying to escape your police car.
I don't think it's that. It's hand management and city building. I don't think it's simultaneous play. Though.
Okay.
I think you take turns to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know.
On to our top 3.
Top 3.
Fine,
These
3.
are finally to the good games.
Yes.
3.
The
Yeah, everything
good
before
games.
this garbage.
Yeah. Right.
To bring back a Brothers Murph thing, they do that all the time.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, everything we've done thus far is like complete junk.
Garbage.
Now, yeah.
So my number 3 is our. Have we had a crossover?
Not yet.
This is our first crossover.
No.
Really?
You did.
No.
No.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You called it out, but you didn't.
Yeah. So this is our first crossover. It's from the OP.
Yeah.
It is Die Hard.
Yeah.
You called it out earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
My bad. I'm excited for it.
Number 3.
I
Wow.
saw it
Number 3.
at Origins. We didn't get a chance to play it, but we got to see some people play it.
Yeah.
I've only got to see the main quarter board top of the
that's
tower.
all they were demoing there. Yeah.
Right.
Was the top.
So I'm excited to see it open and then open again and actually play a
Yeah.
full game of it. It just looks sweet. I'm hoping to pick it up. Well, my plan is to pick it up there, and then I'm hoping we can play it in the room.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
For sure. My only thing with the game is the minis are so tiny. They're like itty
They're
bitty
they're-
minis.
yeah.
Itty bitty little
You gotta
guys.
think when
which
you-
is fine. They could have just used meeples, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter.
When
but-
you take the board and you fold it down to
A quarter,
a quarter,
yeah.
you don't want your minis to be giant.
Yeah.
And at what point is a mini really a mini anymore? like Kingdom Death
If
stuff.
you're talking about big, sure, but if you're talking about small,
No, I'm
it's,
talking about
it's
big.
mini. The
Well,
more smaller it gets, the more mini it
Joe's
is.
talking about
And
the
that's
minis
kinda-
are too
I
small.
would think of all people, you would understand what mini is.
Do you know the game Zombies? With all the tiny little zombies, they're about that size.
There's still 3 times the size of the meeples in Century and New Age.
Yeah,
yeah. New World,
Those are mini meeples.
Those are like
Those are
minuscule.
micro meatballs.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But
No,
I'm saying like a
I'm
certain
joking,
point
I'm
of
not-
getting
yeah,
so
yeah,
big
yeah,
they're
yeah.
no longer. I don't.
Right,
consider
but
them
you were
mini.
talking about how small they were. That's what I thought.
Joe was talking about how small
Like the
they were.
Cthulhu mini.
Yeah,
the new
Cthulhu,
Simon game
That
that's
ain't
2
a
foot
mini.
tall.
Did you see that? Did you see that picture I linked?
Yeah.
That
It's
crazy.
insane.
Like every single miniature for every single CMON game as a gigantic diorama.
I saw that.
Stupid.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
But,
Anyways,
but that is my number 3 Die Hard from the OP, Booth 137.
ooh, we're back to Boost again. Just
Yeah,
every
yeah.
3
Yeah,
games or
every
so, we'll
once in a
Every
get
so
one.
often, you know, he's
Just throwing it out
he's
there so
teasing
then
it.
you can run and
Beat
get it.
Josh there and buy them all.
Yeah.
I'll just buy it online then.
No, he won't. Buy them all out online.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to let you have it online. No.
All right, Steve, what's your number 3?
Okay, so my number 3 is another one that I was hoping to see at Origins, but I didn't get to see. It's another one that I have. I backed the Kickstarter, and I've been patiently waiting for it for quite a while. And I just got to see an unboxing of it on the Dice Tower the other day, and it looks really good.
Nice.
And this is Edge of Darkness also by AEG.
Yep.
And essentially, this is it's a like adventure-y, whatever, but it's that card crafting.
building,
so it's,
right? Yeah.
so it's like Mystic Vale, but your big thing is you don't like the deck building part of Mystic Vale. The interesting thing about this is
I
that
like the card building part of it.
Right.
Did you ever play Mystic Vale?
No,
you played the other game that had that card building.
But the card building aspect looks
That's smart. Yeah, it's fun.
Right. And here's the thing. In this, you might add a thing to a card, but once you've used the card, it doesn't necessarily go back into your deck. It goes into the group deck, so anybody could get it. So the issues that you've had with deck builders in general, where somebody has something and then they use it over and over, and they've created this super engine, they can't always do that because the other person might, pull it. Plus, I can modify that guy and then maybe add something shitty to him.
Right.
And then, it's a very interesting. Plus, it's like
Take that, Matt.
dungeon crawly. It's a bunch of other. Well, I don't mind that other stuff. I just kind of take it as part of the game and like that. But I'm super excited to play it. It's also got a cube tower thing that's involved in it too.
Yep.
So it's like all of this stuff, like all added together, like a lot of things, and it's a very special one because it's like splits into 3 when the cubes come down, and each one changes what happens with like a whole group of things. So it's like it's really.
Doesn't it like catch cubes or something?
Yeah.
So not all the cubes drop.
Yeah, which many cube towers do that. Right.
Yeah.
But this is one of those things where I'm not 100% sure if it does that on that one. I know other games that I've got to, but man, I'm super excited. I've been waiting pretty patiently for this, and the card art looks great.
Yeah.
The player board, like again, I saw the Dice Tower do an unboxing, and it was Melody that did the unboxing, and she was like, "Oh, this stuff is really great!" the pictures are just awesome. And I was like,
nice.
Yeah.
My number 3, it plays 1 to 75 players. Can you guess what type of game it is?
Rolling right?
Rolling right, yeah.
Oh,
It's from
only 75.
Yeah, I know that they limited it. It is from Alley Cat Games. It's called Welcome to Dinoworld.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So think Dinosaur Island.
Yeah.
You're building like a dinosaur park, and you're
Yep.
enclosed. It says one of the mechanics is area enclosure, so probably makes me think of Agricola a little bit.
Maybe fencing.
Well,
Yeah, you fence off dinosaurs into certain areas,
Yeah.
and
I think I've actually
it's a
seen
rolling
a piece
right as
about
well,
it,
so.
and essentially like the sides that you come up will be in shape. So it's a little bit like the Railroad Inc. games. There's a red and a blue one, right?
Yeah.
And you're actually making tracks.
Yep.
Similar type of thing, except for you're making fencing and stuff for dinosaurs and putting in like that. So yeah, at least that's the way it looked as I remember.
Cool. Well, that was my number 3 from Alley Cat Games. Welcome to Dino World.
Meow. 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
2.
Oh, number 2.
Number 2.
Oh.
Booth 129. Guess which booth that is.
That's a big booth at a starting number.
Yes.
Big booth.
I
Look
don't
at the booth on
know. I
that.
can't think of it.
Yellow.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. It is Ishtar,
Yeah.
Gardens of Babylon.
I knew I should have known you had this
Yes, it is from Bruno Cathala. It is a tile placement. It's based on Go, actually. I was reading up on it.
okay.
So he was inspired by the game Go for Ishtar. So you have river. It's a desert game. You have
He just
rivers.
wanted to make it better.
one. You have
right?
Oasis.
He
Yeah,
wanted-
Oasis, yes.
He wanted to fix all the crappy parts
Yeah.
of Go.
Yes. So, desert oasis, and there's fountains of water that come out, and then it grows flowers and whatnot. It looks really, really neat.
It does.
Really pretty. I'm excited for
We
it.
have a video up with a little preview of it
Yes.
from Origins, too.
Yes.
So,
I'm excited for it. You can actually pre-order it. It is a $50 game.
put that over there.
Yeah.
Oh, did you pre-order it?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to pre-order anything.
Okay.
Because if I can't get it, I can't get it, and I'll just pick it up later. That's my feeling.
Then why
Number
are you,
2.
Why are you bothering to get anything?
Yeah, number 2.
Shut up.
He doesn't care if he gets it.
He doesn't get. Yeah.
I care, but it's. I'm not.
anticipated, but
I'm not a supporter of the pre-order.
I'm not a supporter of anything that might be
Okay.
a positive for people.
Why aren't you a supporter of the pre-order? Let's hear it.
I get in line. Just that's part of it.
Get in line.
That's part of it.
Or get wrecked.
But yeah,
Number 3?
off on tangent.
two,
Number
right?
2 is Ishtar, Gardens of Babylon from Yellow.
Cello, Steve. What's your number 2?
So my number 2 is one of the things that I'm really looking forward to this year. I will be shocked if I don't like it. I will be shocked if it is not pretty good because I've heard some decent things about it already. And that is by a little designer named Wolfgang Warsch. and by Schmidt-Spiel, and it is the Herb Witches, which is the expansion for the classic Quedlinburg.
Yep.
I've really enjoyed this
Star
game.
Games.
Yeah, Schmidt-Spiel and
They bring over their game. Star does.
And the thing about it is I've really enjoyed the game thus far. I feel like there's lots and lots of different opportunities for stuff to do, especially with the flipping of the different things. And most everybody that I've played it with has enjoyed it a lot or a ton.
Yeah,
and I will say, and here's the thing, I don't blame you for not, because if you don't like push your luck with lessened mitigation, there's some, but it's lessened definitely. If you don't like that, that's totally understandable. Or if it's not, if it doesn't throw your thing, but I feel like there are so many different ways that the different tiles can come out that potentially a different combination may have given you a very different feel for the game.
I will say this: we checked this out at Origins as well, and there are new ways to mitigate your luck.
Right.
Yes.
So
right.
I think they got that from a lot of people.
Yeah. And again, I think it really depends on the thing, because I've seen certain combinations. Like when we did the game that we played, it was the first time I did that combination of the things, right? Like I'd never done those before, and I didn't find those as nice. The other thing about it is you start to learn that, like, okay, no, I'm not going to push it that hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you do, like you start to be like, oh well, I can only do this not score and buy so many times before it goes badly. So I just have to be aware that I might have to take a much lessened turn, like that, and be aware of it beforehand. But fair statement. I'm super excited for it. It's got new things. It's got new deals. Adds a little bit more variety to a game that I feel actually has a pretty good variety anyways.
Yeah, they added a bunch more.
Yeah, and so I'm super excited. And that's Quaxi Quedlinburg, the Herb Witches, the expansion. Yep. And super excited. It's booth number
1,000.
Exactly.
They're in the family play area. I know that.
Yeah.
Anyways, my number 2 is from Spin Master Limited.
Spin
Master
Limited.
Yeah.
All right.
It is called Sinister VI.
Okay, yeah.
It's the Spider-Man villains.
Yep.
And if you purchase it at Gen Con, you get a free extra exclusive Gen Con villain of the Hobgoblin, I believe. So
Interesting.
anyways, it's a 3 to 6 player take that game where everyone has variable player powers and stuff. I don't know what you're doing in the game. It looks really cool. The art looks amazing. It's like a minimalist, like it's not like actual from the comics. It's more like propaganda style posters from like the Second World War type art.
Well, that could be interesting.
Yeah, so it looks really cool. I've heard really good things about it from people I've seen that have played it so far. So people are saying it's a lot of fun.
Sweet.
So it's supposed to come out. It's supposed to be available for sale, and I'm excited for it. So it is Sinister VI from Spin Master Limited.
Nice.
On to our number ones.
Number one.
The worst game of Gen Con, Josh. What do you got for us?
Go ahead,
The worst game at Gen Con?
Well, I mean, it's good.
Baron
so
Park
far,
Bad News Bears expansion.
Really?
Really?
That's your number one?
No.
Oh, I didn't think so.
No,
Is that really the name of the expansion?
Yeah.
Bad News Bears?
Yes.
That's funny.
Yes.
All right. It's a
Yes,
baseball
it is.
expansion.
That's my number
Really?
18.
Yeah.
It's only for demo,
It's
not
got
for sale.
Cubs.
Anyways, my number one, second crossover.
Yeah.
Yes, it is from Hub Games. It is
Mega City.
Oceania.
Yeah.
Looks amazing. City building, area control, dexterity. Game is $55. The
I have
booth
to go back
is
and watch that
2,763.
I had to go back and watch that Origins video again because
We're like, what is this?
So I am definitely bringing up the next time if I'm right and you guys are like, I don't know,
But
and then now it's like top of your list and second
yes.
and like fourth on yours. Dude.
It looks really neat because, like Joe said, you're doing city building and it's dexterity based. So you have little plastic pieces that you build to build your city. You have cards that score points that tell you how you have to build the city. So you have to have either an overhang or no overhangs or like a see-through
Or
part.
2 overhangs or 3 overhangs.
Yeah. Or a section in the area where
is my thing.
pieces don't meet up.
Stealing my-
Anyways,
Jeez,
Steven,
Louise.
looks super good. I'm excited to play it. I'm excited to pick it up. It is, since my number one, it's a for sure buy. That's probably where I'm going to first.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hub Games.
Hub Games, 2,763, so somewhere down.
Way back.
Way back.
Holy cow.
Probably,
You have to run for a mile.
yeah, probably down by like
Down by
Kingdom Death Monster.
in a van down by the river.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's called Hub Games,
Yeah.
Hubcap.
Yeah, okay.
On a van. Wow. All right, Steve. What's your number one game?
Yes, what's your number one?
Game
One.
of
Ooh,
Gen Con
let me guess.
2019?
Let me guess.
Yeah, since you heard it said beforehand.
No, I wasn't. I blocked it out of my brain.
Blocked it out of his.
Joe remembers because
Name,
he's got to get married for that kind of thing. So.
It's an expansion. No. It's a
No.
full
No.
game. Okay, go.
No,
I don't know what this game is though. So
Okay, so when we were walking around Origins, stopped by a booth and saw a game that I'd seen before and wasn't sure. Like I'd seen it. I remember seeing it on Kickstarter, but I hadn't really paid that close attention to it. And it's Barrage. It is by Cranio Creations.
was this the boat game you were trying to get me that we looked at for a little bit? No. Okay. No.
It's not a boat game. It's dams and water
That's
flowing
right,
through
yes,
the dams,
okay.
right?
Water.
And it is that, right? And here's the thing: essentially, it's a simulation where you're doing water systems, and you're essentially creating dams and opening and creating routes between the dams, like pipe systems between the dams, and then you're opening up stuff, and then where the water flows, you get points based on if it flows through your lines or somebody else's lines. If you control the dam that it goes to, the dams have certain levels, so you can only have so many things of water.
Do you use actual water?
But they're little like all the pieces are really nice. They're little like water crystal-y pieces. You stopped at the thing and you walked away from it fast. But I know you stopped for a second longer. And Paul and I actually listened to the guy's spiel, and it was really interesting because you have like contracts to buy. It seems like it's fairly crunchy, but the interesting thing about it is I think Secret Cabal talked about it and a couple other people talked about it, and the thing that they said is that while it's like there's a lot of depth to it, it's actually a relatively fast game.
Yeah.
Like it actually goes hour and a half kind of a thing. You know what I mean? So like supposedly like 60 to an hour to 2 hours is what it's saying. And there was a lot of people saying, and a lot of, I think if I remember correctly, the way Jimmy Kagi described it was that once you kind of understood what to do, you'd be able to do it in even, like, you definitely could get close to that hour as opposed to the 2 hours. So, yeah, I'm super excited for it. It looks big and fat and crunchy and, like, but also...
Steven's 4-hour game that he likes.
Right. Except for, again, it's an hour to 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's very appealing for me.
Nice.
You know? So, Barrage, Cranio Creations.
What booth?
1197.
Okay.
It's not. Don't go there.
My number one. You don't mind?
Also
Josh?
a crossover.
No, I don't. Actually.
Not a crossover. No, we have only 2 crossovers. It was me and Josh that had them.
Yeah.
No crossovers with Steve. See, told you. I
Steve.
told you. I'd definitely mean Steve.
I thought Cloudspire would have been one for us.
I again, if I hadn't seen the Dawn Shade, I would have. You know, like if I hadn't already known Dawn Shade was good, yeah.
All right. Well, it's from Flyos Games. Nothing.
Nothing. No.
It's called Until Daylight.
No.
No?
No.
Oh my gosh, the art looks fantastic on this. It's a 3 to 6 player co-op game, pool building against zombies.
Okay.
It looks amazing.
Huh.
It looks
Interesting.
yeah. I'm super excited for it. I mean, zombie co-ops.
Pre-order.
I'm there.
Yeah.
It was not available for pre-order. I would have. Yes.
That's funny because it's like I have no problem with it, but I do feel like there's actually like kind of a lot of good zombie co-op games. Like I don't feel like that's a gosh, I need that niche field only because there's actually good ones.
Yeah.
If they were all crap, it'd be a different story. But there's a couple of them I haven't even played, but I've repeatedly really.
I don't think there's any dice in this one. It's
and that's
all.
cool.
I think it's all about the card pool building that you're doing as a team. So
yeah, no, and that's great. You know, again, I'm interested. I'm just saying like that's.
I like the idea of pool building. I haven't played a pool building game.
You have Altiplano and New Orleans are kind of pool building. You're building your pool that you're drawing from. Yeah,
well, that's what they're called.
Is it like a co-op pool building game?
This is I
haven't played a co-op.
Right,
I played
right.
There is a version of Orleans though. There's one of the versions is in co-op, and I'd like to actually try that sometime. So, I think that might make that game even funner for those of us that didn't.
It was a good game.
Yeah, I love.
That's my understanding.
Altiplano was. I don't think I played Orleans.
Yeah, we played it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my number one. until daylight, that's where I'll be running to. I'll
Nice.
do my famous...
Running to, you'll probably be already in there.
My famous Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon flying across the top of boost moves.
Yeah.
Just
Is that
like
how that
last year.
works? Is that how that works?
Yeah,
That-
yep. Just
You
like
You know, I
last
missed
year.
that the previous
His
years,
wire
you know?
foo run on top, jump
Yeah.
off of the...
Yeah.
One copy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll take one. All right, so I know you said you had some... Joe, you said it was hard to get to 10. Did you have any honorable mentions at all?
I did. I was
okay.
I
How
was
about this? If
interested
you were
in
going to
the-
add in a demo or two,
Okay.
what else would you? What would you like that maybe we didn't talk about?
my 2 demos I would have added in was Return to Dark Tower,
Okay.
and I probably would have replaced Die Hard because I knew it was going to be on your list with it.
Yep.
yeah.
Because
yep, I've heard-
I wish it was coming out. I can't believe it. They're probably waiting closer to Halloween.
Really, that's not coming
It's not coming out. It's only demo
It-
still.
again, it might be one of those like where the production didn't just quite match up in
Yeah.
time. You know, like
Yeah.
And then the other game that was close to making the list was the new Pandemic Rapid Response.
yeah,
Yep,
that looks.
that looked-
Yeah, some things look good about that. Yeah.
That was about it. I mean, there wasn't much other stuff
fine.
on my list. So
What about you, Steve?
So I have a couple different things.
That looks like 72 things.
Yeah, well, this is the other stuff as well. This is the stuff that I
This
did
is
talk
just
about.
all of BGG's list.
No. I would love to finally
Ooh,
get to play Underwater Cities.
That looked really neat.
I mean, it's everything I've heard about it. It looks really good. It's like I've heard the component quality is a little bit of a terraforming Mars, but outside of that, like no, right. But gameplay not that so much, and it's supposed to be really good.
Yep.
Bang the Dice game, Undead or Alive.
I did see that.
Yeah, and that
yeah.
again, I've enjoyed that the few times we played. I would have thought you would have mentioned Eastern Mountains.
It's number 15 for me. I pre-ordered it.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the Gollum
right,
edition.
the Gollum edition. Since you've been
He
harping on that.
pre-ordered it.
I should say
Through
not-
their website.
Through their website.
Yeah.
Not their.
They did not have
I-
it available for pre-order. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
I did not get to play the House of Danger Choose Your Own Adventure,
Yeah.
but the War with the Evil Power Master one is there, and I have an
That
interest
was
in
on
that,
mine too,
you know.
but since I hadn't played the last one yet, I didn't add it. I felt that was
So our mutual friend Nick ordered City of the Big Shoulders.
Okay.
It's a big economic, big grindy whatever, and that will be there for demo. I'm excited to
Nice.
try that because just he's excited. So there's a thing. Clank Expeditions, the Temple of the Ape Lords, which is another one of the small ones. But again, I'm a couple of those behind. Like I have a couple that we've never tried. And then the other one that I wanted to. I mean, the Hellboy game looked like something. There's a Grindhouse game that
saw
looked
that,
like
yeah.
something. But the other one that would be anything would be Echo's First Continent, and it's like a civilization building, but like species building
Yep,
kind
I
of
saw
thing,
that.
something like that. So I am that. There are some other things I'm hoping will be there, but weren't announced there. So like Bios, Megafauna, and a couple big things like that. But we'll see.
Nice. I had Mystery House Adventure in a box. I'm surprised this wasn't on yours.
Which one is it?
the same one you just said.
No,
Oh,
Mystery House Adventure in a box.
That was close to making my list.
Yeah.
and
Like,
I-
it looks really neat because it's a box and
Yeah.
it has, like, window cutouts where you have to, like, lean down
Yeah.
and look inside it and
Yeah,
stuff.
it was
really
close.
cool.
Yeah, that
I
would.
don't know why I took it off eventually.
Because
but
it was a demo.
there you go.
Yes,
That's
demo.
why.
I have Deep Blue on there from Days of Wonder. That looks, it's a diving game where you dive and go retrieve, like, goods and whatnot.
So they have 2 games this year.
Yep, I have Sushi Roll, which is a roll and
Right.
write, a version of Sushi Go.
Oh.
Imperial Settlers, roll and write, another roll
Yeah,
and
that's
write.
that's Ignacy. That's supposed to be
Yep.
really, like, actually kind of a deep one.
Yep,
so that
yep.
should be interesting.
Century Golem Edition was on there.
Yeah.
The
I'm really
Artemis.
surprised that didn't get up. Only because I guess maybe because you don't love the game,
Artemis
the
Project?
second game. But have you even tried the second game?
I have. We played it with you.
Oh, you did
Pick
play
up
with
and
me,
delivery.
yeah.
Artemis Project's on here.
That looks good. That's from
that's
the Grand Gamers Guild.
Grand Gamers
Yeah,
Guild.
yeah.
It's for sale, $60. And then Barren Park's coming out with the one expansion I put on here, Barren Park.
You
Bad
didn't
News
mention
Bears.
Hadara, did you?
I didn't
Oh.
mention Hadara from Z-Man Games. It's just a demo for Barren Park. But
Yeah.
Hadara is also on here, $60 game. Also, Hadara looked really neat. Also,
Yeah. So one last quick thing. Do you think that this year you are likely to buy less or more games than you did last year, or the year before?
less.
Probably less. It's feeling like a smaller year than most to me.
I'm buying less in general this past
Yeah,
year.
me too
Yeah.
lately as well. So
I'd
'Cause,
like to say that, but that's
just because some of the games I've bought
Oh, it's
previously, I haven't gotten to the table, and I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, if I'm not getting things to the table, I don't want to buy more to just not get more to the table.
I've got so many things backed on Kickstarter. I'm not as concerned about getting so many things. I definitely want. My goal this year is to get a few games because there's a couple things I would want to get. But my bigger goal is to either fill in some stuff that maybe I can't find anywhere else, like find one or two rare gems, but also to upgrade components on a bunch of stuff. Like I'd really like to do that. I may well get something from Broken Token or whatever, since you don't have to pay for shipping.
Yeah.
Like that does make a big difference for this stuff because there's stuff is heavy. It's good, but it's heavy.
Yes. I want to get one of their dice towers.
Oh yeah, you should do that. Yeah. I think right now I'm aiming to buy my top 7.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Possibly.
Really? And that's
But
not more than you. That's not more than you normally, or close to where you would normally
it's
be.
probably close, but they're smaller games. Normally, I'm looking at bigger games. These
Right,
are like
right.
$15, $10 games and $20
Instead of
games.
$60.
Yeah, but I guess that was
$60 to $100 games.
But again, I guess
the
I was
number.
more
Yeah,
like
so I'll be.
specific. Number of games similar.
I'm saying that
cost
now.
of games not so much.
We'll see how much money I spend the first night we get there Wednesday at the bar, and how much I have left for board games the first day of Gen Con.
Yeah, that'll be.
I have more money this year just because I didn't buy the IG badge, so I saved.
Yeah, that's a lot more. Money.
$500.
I'm actually saving a couple $100 because we're not close to the thing. So I'm technically I'm like we're probably about $300 extra less.
Are you guys gonna Uber in or?
No, we're taking 2 cars down, and we're going to drive in at least to begin with, like that type of thing. There was some question as whether or not there was a shuttle, and I don't know if there is. Because if there was a shuttle, that might work.
Yep.
But the thing about it is almost for sure the one dude was going to drive in because he wanted to be able to have a place to store games, since we're not close enough to walk to there. You know?
So your car is what we used to do. Store games in your car.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do is. But the one guy's got a minivan and he's talking about taking, so that would work out.
I did have 2 more games that would have made my list.
Yeah,
except I didn't put RPGs on my list.
Oh yeah.
Pathfinder 2nd Edition sounds very interesting to me. And then Kids in Space is the Kids on Bike new version.
Space,
Or Teens in Space is called, not Kids. Teens, because kids don't go to space.
No.
Teens go to space. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited for it. Very excited for Gen Con still.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Yeah, I mean...
I don't have to spend money there to feel good about it either. Like I like just going and enjoying the time with my friends.
Well, I was going to say, you do a lot of work there, too, though, when you demo games.
Yeah,
I do, yeah.
And this year, I signed up for a lot more games to actually get demoed and played, that kind of thing. So there's a bunch of stuff that is things I've either owned and never gotten to the table, or only gotten to the table once, and I'm going to get a chance to play, so I'm real excited about that.
Are you going to Gen Con?
If you see us at Gen Con, come up and say hi.
Yes, please do.
Hug Josh as often as you can.
Yes.
He'll be wearing this shirt.
Probably not.
No, okay. He'll be wearing a very bright blue costume.
Very similar to this, probably.
Oh, Lord.
What's your top 3 games that you're looking forward to from the BGG list?
Yeah.
Or just
10
in general?
whatever,
Top 1. Just tell us my note.
Is there something outside of that you're interested in doing at Gen Con?
Yeah, there's a bunch of events. Obviously, there's a bunch of... I don't know. Everything.
And if you're not doing Gen Con, are you going to do Gen Can't? Because I know that's been a big thing where they're doing like that.
Right. Or go to one of the stores.
The pop-up Gen Con
Yeah,
things
that'd be
too.
interesting to see.
So yeah. Let us know what you think, and like that. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Until next time, though. My name is Joe.
I'm Josh.
I'm Steve.
And you've been watching
Down the Van.
On the van.
Wow, Josh.
What? I said down the van.
It's like you were questioning that, though.
It was. Down the van.
That was my number 10 least anticipated closing statement.
Bye.